It started like any other night. Quiet. Ordinary. The kind of night you don't remember the next day because nothing happens. But this one never left me. I remember the wind brushing against the windows, that faint hum in the background that almost sounded like a whisper. I thought it was just my imagination, maybe the house settling in. Until I heard it, something moving upstairs. Slow. Heavy. Dragging across the attic floor. I lived alone, so there shouldn't have been anyone up there. My first thought was a raccoon or something, but the sound, it wasn't animal. It had rhythm. 3 slow steps, pause, and then another. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and climbed the stairs. Every step creaked like it was warning me not to go further. The air grew colder the higher I went, that kind of cold that doesn't touch your skin but seeps straight into your chest. When I reached the attic, I swung the light across the room, and that's when I saw it, 3 long scratches carved deep into the wall. Fresh. The plaster still flaked off the edges. I stared at it, trying to think of an explanation, but none came. I turned to leave, heart pounding, and then I heard it again. 3 footsteps. Right behind me. Slow. Heavy. I spun around, but there was no one there. Just the cold and the sound of my own breathing. After that night, the house changed. Lights started flickering at exactly 3:17 a.m., every night without fail. The clock on the wall stopped at the same time. Sometimes I'd wake up to the faint sound of someone whispering my name. The first time it happened, I thought I was dreaming. The second time, I wasn't so sure. I tried ignoring it, but it got worse. One night, a friend came over to crash on the couch. Around 3 in the morning, he shook me awake, pale as death. He asked, "Man, who the hell was talking in the hallway?" I told him there was nobody else in the house. His face went blank, and he didn't sleep a minute after that. He left before sunrise and never came back. That's when I decided to find out what was happening. I installed cameras in every room, motion sensors, microphones, even EMF detectors, just to prove to myself that it was all in my head. But it wasn't. The recordings showed things moving when I wasn't home, shadows crossing the walls, doors swinging open. One night, the camera in the attic caught something worse. Just before 3:17, a dark shape appeared near the scratched wall. It wasn't a person. It was too tall, its movements too slow, like it didn't belong in this world. The next morning, when I checked the attic, the scratches were deeper. Days turned into weeks. Sleep became impossible. The whispers got louder. The mirrors in the house started fogging up from the inside, forming words I couldn't read before they vanished. Then one night, my phone started ringing. No number. Just unknown caller. The sound made my stomach twist. I shouldn't have answered, but I did. And there was nothing. Just static. Until a voice, faint and distorted, whispered one single word, "Come back." I didn't know what that meant. Come back where? I'd never left. But that night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I went back to the attic. Sat in the middle of the floor. The scratches were now covering the wall like veins, black and endless. I stared at them, my phone flashlight trembling in my hand. The air was colder than ever. Then, out of nowhere, my phone buzzed again, same unknown caller. I answered. Static. Breathing. Then a voice, low and clear, said, "You shouldn't have come back." And the call ended. Everything went still. The kind of stillness that presses against your eardrums. Then the light flickered once, twice, and the mirror across the room began to shake. Not crack, vibrate, like something on the other side was trying to push through. My reflection rippled like water. I leaned closer, unable to look away. And then, it smiled. But I wasn't smiling. My reflection was. The face staring back at me looked like me, but its eyes were pure black. It lifted its hand and pressed it against the glass, and for a second, I felt warmth radiating through it. Then the voice whispered again, right in my ear, even though the reflection's lips never moved, "You answered the call, now you can't hang up." The mirror shattered. The light went out. And everything went dark. When I woke up, I was still sitting in the same spot, but the room wasn't the same. The air felt heavier. The silence, deeper. The scratches on the wall were gone, replaced by something else, my own handprint, burned into the wood. I went downstairs, but the house wasn't my house anymore. Every door led somewhere different. The clock still said 3:17. The phone rang again, echoing through the rooms, even though I didn't have service. I picked it up. Static. Then the same voice, "It's not your home anymore." Now, every night, I hear the ringing. Sometimes it comes from the walls, sometimes from behind the mirror. And every time I try to ignore it, something changes, objects move, lights flicker, shadows crawl along the ceiling. I tried throwing the phone away, breaking it, burning it. But it always comes back. On the table. On the bed. In my hand. The screen always showing the same thing, the last call. And every time I answer, I hear the same whisper, closer than before, "We're not done yet." I tried to convince myself that it was all in my head. That I was exhausted, losing sleep, maybe even hallucinating. But the moment I looked into that broken mirror and saw the reflection still moving after I did, I knew I wasn't dreaming. My body froze. My reflection tilted its head slowly, studying me, like it was curious. Then it mouthed something I couldn't hear, 3 words. I stepped closer, heart pounding, trying to read its lips. And then it said it again, louder, inside my head this time. "Let me in." The lights exploded. Every bulb in the house burst at once, showering the floor in glass. The ringing started again, not from the phone this time, but from inside the walls. The sound pulsed through the wood, through the floorboards, through me. My vision blurred. And then I saw something that made my blood run cold. On the wall, where the scratches once were, appeared a single sentence, written in what looked like ash. "The line is open." I don't remember falling asleep, but when I woke, I was lying in the hallway. My phone was on my chest, screen glowing even though it was dead. The caller ID said, "Unknown, connected." I didn't touch it, didn't dare. But the voice spoke anyway. This time it wasn't a whisper. It was clear, cold, and right behind me. "You should have never answered." I turned around, and there it was. A figure, tall and thin, standing in the doorway. Its skin looked stretched, like it was barely holding itself together. Its head twitched, its eyes black and bottomless. I wanted to run, but I couldn't move. My muscles wouldn't respond. The thing tilted its head, and I heard a faint static hum, the same tone from the phone. It took one step forward, and the sound grew louder. My phone vibrated, the same phrase flashing again and again, "The last call." I tried to scream, but the moment I opened my mouth, I felt air being pulled out of my lungs, like something was draining me from the inside. Then, nothing. When I woke again, it was daylight. Or at least it looked like daylight. The house was quiet, almost peaceful. The broken glass was gone. The mirrors were whole again. For a moment, I thought it was over. But then I noticed the phone in my hand. The screen showed the camera app, front-facing, and I was already recording. But the reflection on the screen wasn't mine, it was still smiling. Every time I blinked, things shifted slightly. The pictures on the wall changed. The floorboards creaked in rhythm with something breathing just behind me. I deleted the video. It came back. I reset the phone. It still came back. It was like the footage wanted to exist. Like it wasn't mine to delete. That night, I decided to leave. Packed a bag, got in the car, and drove until the GPS lost signal. But the roads kept looping. I'd passed the same old billboard, the same empty gas station, over and over again. I turned off the engine, stepped out, and realized something terrifying. The world around me was completely silent. No wind. No insects. Not even the hum of power lines. Just stillness. Then, in the distance, I heard it, the ringtone. My phone was still in the car, but the sound came from the trees. I followed it. The deeper I went, the louder it got. Until I saw something glinting among the branches, an old rotary phone, hanging from a wire, swaying gently. It rang once more, then stopped. I stood there, staring, trying to breathe. And then it rang again. I reached for it, trembling. The receiver was cold. When I put it to my ear, the voice on the other end whispered, "You've left the house, but it hasn't left you." I dropped the phone and ran. Branches tore at my arms as I stumbled through the darkness. But no matter how far I ran, the sound followed me, ringing, echoing, multiplying. I finally burst out into the open, and froze. I was back in front of my house. My car was in the driveway. The door was open, the lights on. Everything exactly as I'd left it. I stepped inside. The phone was on the table, ringing. I knew I shouldn't answer. But I did. And this time, I didn't hear a voice. I heard myself. My own voice, crying, begging from the other side. "Don't let it in. Please. Don't answer again." The call ended, but the echo of my voice stayed in the room long after. I realized something then. I wasn't the only version of me here. Whatever had taken root in that house, in that phone, it wasn't calling from somewhere else. It was calling from the version of me that had already answered. The one trapped inside. The one that never hung up. Now, every night, I hear it. The faint ringing somewhere beyond the walls. Sometimes it's in the attic, sometimes in the mirror, sometimes inside my own head. I've stopped trying to escape. There's nowhere left to go. The time is always 3:17. The line is always open. And the call never ends. It's been days. I think. Or maybe hours. Time doesn't work the same way anymore. Every clock I check still says 3:17. The light outside changes, but it doesn't mean anything. Sometimes it's day, sometimes it's night, and sometimes it's both at once. I don't sleep anymore. Every time I close my eyes, I hear the ringing. Sometimes it's faint, like a memory. Other times it's so loud it shakes the walls. But the worst part is when it stops. Because the silence means it's listening. I tried to talk to it once. Don't ask me why. Maybe I wanted answers. Maybe I wanted to believe it could be reasoned with. So when the phone rang again, I picked up and said, "What do you want from me?" No response. Just breathing. And then, my name. My full name. Spoken exactly the way my mother used to say it when she was angry. I froze. "She's been gone for years." I whispered, "Mom." And the voice changed. Softer now. Warmer. Hers. "You don't have to be afraid," it said. "You can come home." My hand started shaking. It sounded so real. So human. I wanted to believe it was her. But deep down, I knew. It wasn't her. It was it. The thing from the mirror, from the attic, from the phone. It was learning. Adapting. Using my memories against me. I hung up, but the ringing came right back. Louder. Angrier. Then the whispers started. Not just one voice anymore. A dozen. Maybe more. All speaking at once, overlapping, repeating the same phrases: come home. Pick up. It's waiting. Sometimes, the voices sound like people I know. Sometimes, they sound like me. One night, I heard footsteps in the hall. Slow. Careful. I thought it was my reflection again, or whatever it was pretending to be me. But when I turned the corner, I saw my father standing there. Same old jacket, same tired eyes. He looked real. Too real. He said, "Son, it's okay. We've been waiting for you." I didn't move. I couldn't. I knew my father died 5 years ago. But the thing that looked like him stepped closer, and the air around him bent, like heat rising from asphalt. Then his face twitched, eyes rolled back, jaw snapped open wider than it should have, and he screamed. A sound that didn't belong in this world. I ran to my room, slammed the door, and pushed a dresser in front of it. The phone was on the bed. Already ringing. I didn't answer, but the voicemail played itself. My voice again. "You can't keep hiding. It knows you now." After that night, reality started to unravel. Sometimes, I'd walk into a room and find myself already standing there. Not a reflection. Not a hallucination. Me. Same clothes, same face, same terrified eyes. And every time I'd blink, he'd get closer. Whispering things I couldn't fully understand. Things that sounded like instructions. Answer the last call. I think I know what that means now. The first call connected me. The last one ends it. Maybe it's the only way to make it stop. But something tells me that's exactly what it wants. The line isn't just open anymore, it's inside me. I hear it when I breathe, when I think, when I try to remember what my life was before all this. It's not whispering through the phone anymore. It's whispering through me. Tonight, I smashed every mirror, burned the phone, destroyed everything connected to it. But as the fire went out, I saw something written in the ashes, 3 words, same as before. Let me in. Now, even without the phone, I hear the ringtone. It comes from the walls, from under the floor, from inside my chest. I don't know if I'm still in the same house or just inside its memory. But I know this, whatever called me, it doesn't want connection. It wants control. And every time I hear that ring echo through the silence, I know it's only a matter of time before I finally answer, again. I don't remember when the ringing stopped. Or maybe it never did. Maybe I just stopped hearing it the way a person stops hearing their own heartbeat. It became part of me. The silence now feels heavier than sound, like the air itself is listening, waiting. I haven't left the house in. I don't even know how long. Days blend into nights. Sometimes, when I blink, it's light again. Sometimes, it's still 3:17. The clock hasn't moved, but I have. Or at least, I think I have. Lately, things don't stay where they belong. I'll leave a chair in one room, come back, and it's somewhere else. Pictures on the wall show faces I don't recognize. People that look like me, but aren't. I tried writing things down to keep track, to prove what's real, but the words change when I'm not looking. Sometimes the letters twist into shapes that almost look like numbers. Sometimes they spell one thing, over and over again. Connected. The whispers are constant now. Not from the phone. From the house. From me. When I talk, I hear echoes of another voice, like 2 people speaking through the same mouth. I tried recording it once, but the playback was only static and faint laughter underneath. A low, broken laugh that went on for hours even after I shut off the recorder. I found the phone again last night. I burned it. Buried it. But there it was, on the table when I woke up. Clean. Untouched. Screen glowing. It wasn't ringing this time. Just waiting. The display showed a single message, last call, ongoing. I picked it up. My hand moved before I could think. The screen flickered, and suddenly, I wasn't in the room anymore. I was somewhere else. It looked like my house, but hollow. Empty. The walls were made of shadows, pulsing like lungs. And in the center stood the figure, the one from before. Only now, it had my face. My body. My voice. It looked at me and smiled. You left the line open, it said. Now we share it. The ground rippled beneath my feet. Every wall began to hum, vibrating with that same tone I'd heard on every call. I covered my ears, but the sound came from inside my skull. The figure reached out its hand, and I felt every thought in my head flicker like static. Images flashed, my childhood home, my parents, the attic, the scratches on the wall, all melting together like a corrupted file. I screamed, but no sound came out. The figure leaned close, forehead to mine, and whispered, "You're not losing your mind. You're giving it to me." I don't know what happened after that. Maybe I blacked out. Maybe I was erased. When I opened my eyes, I was back in the house again. Everything looked normal. Clean. Silent. My phone was on the table, screen dark. For the first time in months, I thought it was over. Then it rang. But this time, I didn't feel fear. I felt calm. Like I'd been waiting for this. I answered without hesitation. "Hello," I said. My voice sounded steady. Strong. The voice on the other end was mine. "It's done," it said. "You're home now." The line went dead. The phone melted into my hand, dissolving into light. The walls around me pulsed once, like a heartbeat, then fell still. And for the first time in forever, there was peace. At least, that's what I thought. Because now, sometimes, when I walk past mirrors, I see the reflection blink a moment too late. And when I close my eyes at night, I still hear it, the faint hum, the static between worlds. Waiting. The connection was never broken. It just changed hands. And somewhere out there, the phone is ringing again, waiting for someone else to answer the last call.